Green Hygienics is in the science of preserving and promoting the health of individuals, communities, and the planet. In an age where pharmaceuticals and the food supply are contributing factors in destroying our collective health, it is critical that we look to change this. Ron Loudoun founded Green Hygienics with all that in mind. The recent changes in policy in the cannabis sector have created exciting new opportunities. So Ron has been part of the sector for far longer and sees it as a catalyst to effect that change. So Ron Loudoun joining us today from Green Hygienics. So that is a fascinating intro. Tell me about that. I almost hesitate to ask you about your long background in the cannabis industry. That's always a tough question.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm in Deep Creek in the middle of nowhere, so we had to keep ourselves busy. I think the key word in that opening statement, though, is catalyst. And you know, when you get a bit older, you start to look at things more longer term and more all-encompassing. And there's a lot of activity, obviously, in the cannabis space right now, and it's good. It's good for a lot of reasons. I mean, people are doing well with it, and that's fine. But it's even better for some of the reasons that people aren't seeing right now. And one of them is this: there's a lot of innovation being developed in that space. And that innovation can go beyond that industry, and a lot of people aren't considering that. One of the greatest problems on our planet right now is really not just the carbon emissions, but it's also methane emissions. Food waste is a huge source of methane emissions, and obviously factory farming. You know, the technologies that and some that we have, a hybrid aeroponic method for growing, for instance, can be used in the urban agriculture space. Our food system is broken. We're worried about the health of our food, or worried about our foods being full of chemicals, how they're handled, delivered. All of that is, not working. It's a broken system. So
it's becoming general consciousness that our food doesn't have the nutrition that it used to have.
Doesn't have the taste, doesn't have the nutrition. Everything about it is not working for us right now. What's nice about it, again, is people are recognizing that. I think the statistics on people choosing organic products is like a hockey stick on a chart right now. It's really a concern, food safety.
And they want to also buy local, or the best idea is if they could actually buy from like the old days where they knew that their food was being grown by a farmer in a normal type of scenario.
And locally.
Yes.
Local, fresh, and safe.
But your company's called Green.
Well, we have
I mean, it's a cannabis company, isn't it?
Sure. Well, it's more than that, and that's why I like the way you opened up there. The technology that's used, an aeroponic system, for instance, in the cannabis space.
What do you mean aeroponics?
It's a technology that was formed by NASA probably in, I think, it was the 30s, and it is growing root hanging in the air, and you mist the root and apply nutrients to the root, and that's how you grow a plant. There's no dirt, there's no rock wall, there's no flowing water, as in hydroponics involved at all. So, my feeling on the cannabis industry, if you're not growing aeroponically in the next 5 to 10 years, you won't be in business. You can't do it any other way and be cost effective. And the competitive factors are already hitting the market. We've seen what's happened in a few of the lower states, and the people that were on the bandwagon are out of business, and that's happening up here right now too.
Up in Canada, we're in Canada.
Yeah.
So Green Hygienics is a cannabis company that is using a particular form of this hydroponics, aeroponics. And that's your niche in the cannabis industry. But I'm really intrigued by what you're saying about how it's going to be applicable in the food business.
Yeah, so like I say, Green Hygienics applies itself to solutions for communities and people. And it really, we're taking our technology from the cannabis space and we're going to leverage it into the food space.
So give me an example.
Well, for example, I just had this conversation on the way in on the plane, and I was explaining to a gentleman. He said, "Well, I'm from Chicago." I said, "Well, how was your produce last winter?" He says, "Terrible. A head of lettuce was $5. There was a film on it, and it was brown, and we were lucky to get it." It's trucked in from California. 70% of the produce in the States, of all the United States, is trucked in from California to the eastern cities. By the way, 30% of that stays on the ground, and it's a waste and produces methane. So that 70% gets over to Chicago, to this gentleman's town. Of that 70%, 50% of it, by the way, is used. The other 50% is in the dump on the ground producing methane. So you've got that low percentage of finished food there. It's a week by the time it gets there. It's been sprayed. The soil's back there. Pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides have been used on the soil. So the soils are contaminated, and it gets worse because they're contaminating the aquifers there. What aquifers are left because you're using so much water. So you've got this end result of this little brown head of lettuce in Chicago in the wintertime, shipped out from California, and you've ruined the soil back here, and you're running out of water back here. The problem wasn't, they said, well, California...
Plus, you're using all this diesel fuel to truck it out there.
Diesel to truck it out. California said, well, we didn't get produce out there because we didn't have enough trucks. Well, that's not the case. They've contaminated a lot of the soil, and there's not enough water. So this is a broken system. It's unsustainable. We are very fortunate to be in a time, if we just recognize it, where the technology has arrived to provide a solution to that problem. So,
which is
indoor growing through there's methods that serve the plant. Our preferred method is a hybrid aeroponic method. There is new technology with regard to lights, for instance. A plant grows using a particular spectrum of the light throughout the cycle of the plant. For instance, cannabis, when it's flowering, will use the red spectrum. Well, you don't need an old halogen light. An LED light, you shut off the other 90% during the life cycle that it's not using, and you apply red light during that stage of the plant. Now you've just created an efficiency. Every head of lettuce or every bud of that cannabis is perfect. We don't use pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. What's left? A root. Not dirt. We don't throw a pail of dirt from growing, or rock wall, or contaminated water. We have a root hanging there that no pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides have been applied to. It's a clean root. That goes out in the back in a digester and produces methane, which we use to run a generator to power the LED lights.
Wow.
There's zero waste.
And that can be economically viable? That's the question mark.
It isn't a question mark. Go down to Whole Foods. What are you paying for an organic head of lettuce? The time has arrived where this is a viable solution. We have the technology. We have the consumers willing to pay a little bit more for organic, for safe food that can be grown and create jobs right in their local community. So the solutions are here. We just have to implement them.
Give me an example of how this could work in, this is a large scale issue if you're talking about making a dent on all the food, all the vegetables that get shipped from California.
Sure.
Give me a hypothetical example of...
So a large ship doesn't right itself in any immediate or short period of time. Based on the experience I've had with the financial markets and introducing new technologies or products to the markets, is you have to build a model, and you have to have third-party validation and data and prove out that model, and then everybody becomes excited about it. Before you have that, they're either a skeptic or that's great. They patronize it. So you really have to have something material to show people. There are people in this space. Bezos has 250,000 square feet in San Francisco right now, an indoor grow facility.
Growing vegetables indoors?
They're growing vegetables, yeah. And there's Aero Farms. There's Elon Musk's younger brother has 100,000 square feet. Nobody has anything on a larger scale. but they're dabbling with it right now. And there's some people, there's a lot of great interest in this space. What I like about one of the main things I like about the cannabis space is there's so much money being poured into that. There's so much innovation being created there. There's so many efficiencies being created in that space. That's fine to take advantage of that space. I think leveraging that into the next wave, that's something we all should be aware of, the damage we're doing to the planet with in the food space. I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great business opportunity as well.
So Green Hygienics, what's the plan going forward in the next little while?
Well, like I say, the most important thing is to build out that model. I think what you want to do within the cannabis space is build a strong balance sheet and demonstrate a profitable operation firstly within that space, because there's not a lot of people doing that right now. I mean, have a look at the balance sheets, read the financial statements on some of these 100 or 200 stocks. A lot of them don't know what they're doing. A lot of them grow with their eyes and not science. So you're constantly fixing problems instead of growing a good, clean product. A lot of them are using pesticides, fungicides, herbicides. They're throwing out buckets of contaminated dirt and waste. And as a matter of fact, we're going to see, I think we're going to see a nice, everybody's in the pool right now and not everybody knows how to swim. We're going to see a lot of problems in that market, a lot of growth.
Culling of the herd.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, if you're going to do something, be the best at it. We're not new to that industry. And I think what we do is very, very unique, and it's obviously very, very efficient. And we produce a better than organic, clean product at the end of the day that people within that industry, the consumers within that space, really want the best. It's the nature of that industry. Mm-hmm. People, I mean, if you said, here's 10 pounds and it's really inexpensive, it's a great deal. But there's this 1 pound over here. It's really, really expensive. 100% of the time, the people that are long-term or intelligent in that space will take the better stuff. So that's where we want to position ourselves within that space. And we want to put ourselves in a position to take advantage of the next wave, which is applying that technology. And we're working on, we have 4 PhDs coming aboard, and we're looking on identifying systems, methods, and apparatus that can be patented. And we're going to take it to the next stage, which is the food industry.
Awesome. Can't wait to taste some of this better quality lettuce.
Just like back in the old days on the farm.
Yeah, absolutely. Ron, thank you so much for coming on Biz 101. Good luck.
Cheers.